we will learn about digestion process in the lesson Busy at Work, our internal organs. Okay, so let's begin with the digestion process. Now the digestion process takes place in a special tube called as the alimentary canal. Okay, the food that we eat is digested in our body every time. That is, the substances that can mix with the blood are formed from the food. That means whatever food we are taking in, that food is converted finally into digested food. Okay, it is broken down into smaller substances and then finally this food gets mixed with the blood. So that process itself is called as digestion process. So this process takes place in different parts of a long and flexible tube inside our body. Okay, so there is a long and flexible tube inside our body which is also called as the alimentary canal, and the digestion process takes place in this tube or the alimentary canal. Okay, so it just see the words here, long. So this alimentary canal is a very long tube and it is also flexible. That means it can change its width. That is why it is called as a flexible tube. So the upper end of this tube starts with the mouth. Okay, so the upper end of this alimentary canal or this long and flexible tube is the mouth. That is why you start eating from your mouth and not from your nose, right? So you start eating the food from your mouth. Therefore, we say that the alimentary canal starts with the mouth, and the lower end of this alimentary canal is the anus, wherein the unwanted substances from the body is thrown out. That is called as the anus. Okay, so let me show you now the structure of the alimentary canal. You can see that it starts in the mouth, okay, and then it goes continuous like this, and there is small bag-like structure which goes into a structure, coiled structure like this, and then finally it comes out in the sense that food does not come out. The waste products of the food will be coming out to the anus. So remember, dear students, alimentary canal is nothing but a long and flexible tube. It starts with the mouth and ends with the anus. Okay, and since it is flexible, the food can go inside very easily. Even if there is this tube is continuous tube going from the mouth to the anus, the shape of the tube is not the same throughout. Okay, it is differing. You will find that the mouth is different, then there is a pipe over here, a small pipe like structure is there, that is different, then there is a bag like structure is there, that is different. So the shape of this tube, though it is continuous, it goes on varying from the mouth to the anus. Fine. Then the different parts of the alimentary canal have different structures. Mouth will have different structure. This tube like structure is having a different structure. Bag like structure is another structure. So all these structures are different of the alimentary canal. These different parts are also called as the digestive organs. Okay, so these different parts are called as digestive organ. And even there are certain other structures called as the glands which are outside the alimentary canal. And these glands also help in the process of digestion. Okay, students, so remember there are different parts of the alimentary canal, and these different structures or different parts are also called as digestive organs. Along with these digestive organs, there are other structures called as glands which are present outside the alimentary canal, which also helps in the process of digestion. And these glands are nothing but, you might have heard about the structures called as liver or pancreas. So liver and pancreas also help in the process of digestion. So now let us see what are the different parts of the digestive system, or which are the different organs. So the first organ of the digestive system or the alimentary canal is the mouth. Okay, since we start eating from the mouth becomes the first digestive organ. Okay, then followed by a tube-like structure called as the food pipe, or also called as esophagus. Okay, mouth, then a tube-like structure, thin tube-like structure called as esophagus, or also called as food pipe. Then followed by a bag-like structure called as stomach. Okay, I was saying all these while I was saying bag-like structure. So bag-like structure is nothing but your stomach. Then there is, coiled tube-like structure, which is coiled and supercoiled, which is also called as intestine. And there are two different types of intestines here. One is small intestine and the other is large intestine. Small intestine is narrow in size, whereas large intestine is wider in size. Therefore, small intestine being narrow, it is called as small intestine, and large intestine being wider is called as large intestine. Otherwise, the length of small intestine is much more as compared to that of the large intestine. Fine. So, this is regarding the different parts of the alimentary canal, along with the other glands called as liver and pancreas also help in the process of digestion. So, these are the different parts. Now, let's see what happens in each of these parts, beginning with the mouth. Okay, now the process of digestion begins as soon as the food is taken into the mouth. Okay, remember, process of digestion begins as soon as the food is taken into the mouth. And in the mouth, you know that we have the presence of teeth, okay, tongue, and even saliva. Saliva in Marathi we call it as lard. Okay, these three things in the mouth help in the process of digestion. So what happens in the mouth now? The teeth which is there starts biting the food and makes it into smaller pieces, whereas tongue helps to mix this food along with the saliva. Now saliva consists of certain chemicals called as enzymes, which helps in digestion of one of the foods called as carbohydrates. Now carbohydrates you are going to learn in the later chapter, what is carbohydrates. Okay, so sorry, not carbohydrates, you have already learned because you have learned in constituents of food. So carbohydrate is one of the constituent of the food. So this carbohydrate are broken down with the help of an enzyme called as salivary amylase, which is present in the saliva. You remember that it is some chemical. Okay, so once this teeth bites and tongue and saliva also helps to convert this food into a soft moist ball. Okay, ball like structure which is soft and moist in nature, which is also called as bolus. B-O-L-U-S. So it forms a soft bolus, moist bolus, okay, which is easy to swallow, because after the mouth there is a small tube called as esophagus. To pass into the esophagus, this food has to be ground first into the soft and moist ball, which is also called as bolus, and then it can easily pass into something called as esophagus. You can see now how the soft moist ball is going into a pipe like structure called as the esophagus. Okay, so now from the esophagus you can see how it is going into the esophagus, and from the esophagus then it enters into the stomach. So the bolus passes through the esophagus into a bag like structure called as stomach. You can see this bag like structure called as stomach. Okay, so food passes from the mouth in the form of a soft bolus into the esophagus, and from esophagus can smoothly go into the stomach, wherein further digestion process starts. Okay, the stomach is shaped like a bag. How is the structure of the stomach now? As I have told you, all the structures, all the parts of the alimentary canal are different. Though it is continuous, all of the structures are different. The stomach is shaped like a bag. Here the food is churned. Churning means like ground into thin paste. Now how it is ground? It's because in the stomach there is an acid called as hydrochloric acid. Sometimes you get problem of acidity. Do you remember, student? Have you heard about acidity problem? Yes, this acidity problem is because in the stomach there is presence of a concentrated acid called as hydrochloric acid. Whenever you are feeling hungry, okay, whenever you are hungry, that means acid is ready now to digest the food. But if you do not eat at that time, okay, then what will happen? This acid, since it is ready for digestion, okay, it doesn't get food to digest at that time. What happens is that time it starts eating the mucous membrane. Mucus means a slimy membrane is there or layer is there for the stomach from inside. So it starts digesting that, and when it starts digesting that, what you get acidity. Fine. So that is why whenever you are hungry, you should eat at that time. Otherwise what will happen? You will have acidity problem. Why? Because this acid is very strong. Okay, and since this acid is there in the stomach, okay, with the help of this acid, the food is made into a thin paste. Food is made into a thin paste. Okay, so thin paste, and what happens, or thin slurry it is called as in the stomach, and then now it can go in the form of liquid substance which can directly enter now into the small intestine. So along with the food getting churned, making into a thin paste, what happens, sometimes even microorganisms may be there, disease producing germs may be there along with the food. Since acid is very concentrated, all these microorganisms also can be, disease producing germs also can be killed into the stomach. The food change, so this food now which is made into a thin slurry can pass into the small intestine. So from the food stomach now it goes into the small intestine. You can see that coil like structure which is there, a super coiled structure, that is called as the small intestine. Now let's study about how is the structure of the small intestine. Now small intestine of an adult means around, you are a children now, you are a small children, then you will become teenagers, and after the age of teenagers, okay, you will be called as adults, like I am called an adult now. Now the small intestine of an adult is about 7 meters long. Okay, 7 meters, you can imagine how big is your small intestine. Though it is called a small intestine, it is very long. Okay, it is very long, and that is why to fit into that small portion of the body, it is been coiled. Okay, so when it is coiled, it can fit into a small area. Okay, small part it can be. Okay, so this small intestine of an adult is, remember, it is 7 meters long, and the digestive juices in the intestine bring about several digestive processes. Now in the case of stomach, the food gets churned. Now what happens further in the small intestine? This small intestine, it has certain juices which are called as digestive juices. Now these digestive juices, along with the juices produced by pancreas, as I mentioned to you, there are certain glands also which helps in the digestion process. Okay, so pancreatic juice and the bile juice from the liver, okay, this also enters into the small intestine, and then this thin slurry which has entered from the stomach now gets further digested into the small intestine. Okay, so the digestive juices in the intestine bring about several digestive processes, and we say that the complete digestion takes place in the case of small intestine. That means the digestion is completed in the small intestine. That means the food which is there, it's completely digested in the small intestine. So the secretions of some glands also help in the process of digestive system, as I have mentioned to you, that is the liver and the pancreas. Also produce the juices which helps in the digestion in the case of small intestine. All of them enter into the small intestine and the digestion is complete in the small intestine. Now once this digested food which is produced in the small intestine, where does it go? It has to go now into the blood, and to go into the blood it requires something to get absorbed by the blood, correct? For that purpose, small intestine on its inner lining has small finger-like projections, which you can see in this picture only. Small finger-like projections are here, these ones. So these projections which are there are actually acting like cotton. Cotton, when it is put into the water, okay, you will find that the cotton absorbs this water. The same way, these finger-like projections also have absorbing capacity. You can see this absorbing capacity. This food gets absorbed by these finger-like projections and then enters into the blood capillaries. Okay, so you can see further in this case, you can see these are finger-like projections. You can see finger-like only, like nails are there, and these now finger-like projections are also called as something called a villi. Villi means V-I-double-L-I. Now you don't need to learn this. I'm just giving extra information for you to know how these now digested food is going into the blood. You can see from the villi which absorbs the food, you can see green particles and yellow particles are coming. They are nothing but what? Digested food which is going into the villi, and from the villi it enters into the capillary. You can see capillary structure here, correct? So these capillaries are nothing but the blood carrying tubes. Blood carrying tubes, they are also called as capillaries. Now once they enter into the blood, blood moves everywhere. So this food now reaches everywhere in the body from the small intestine, because it is digested completely in the small intestine. So in the small intestine they absorbed into the blood, and the remaining substances, whatever is remaining now finally goes where? Into the last part, that is the large intestine. Okay, so the remaining substances which are which are undigested, which are not digested by small intestine, now goes into something called as the large intestine. You can see large intestine moving like this, so blobby like this the structure is. Okay, it is also called as colon. It is also called as colon. So whatever is undigested goes into the large intestine. So the large intestine, how is the structure? First of all, the structure and then its function. So structure is, it has U-shaped, or you can say inverted U type structure, also called as colon. This large intestine of an adult is only 1.5 meters long. Okay, 1.5 meters long. Very small, right? As compared to that of the small intestine, because small intestine, though it is small, but it is longer. Since it is narrow, it is called a small intestine. Whereas large intestine is broad, okay, or wider than small intestine, but its length is very less. That is only 1.5 meter or 1.5 meter. You have already learned now in maths about the decimal fraction. So 1.5 meters means 1 meter and 50 centimeters. Here in the case of large intestine, water is present. So this water which is there along with undigested food is absorbed into the large intestine. And what remains is nothing but the waste material, which is also called as feces or stools. Okay. Now this feces or stool, which is unwanted material, is thrown out from the body, okay, through the anus. So for some time it gets collected into a last part of the large intestine called as rectum. So after later on, this undigested food or the waste material is thrown out from the body through the anus. So these are how the organs present in the digestive system. So let's see little more. Okay, you can see the structure of the colon here. Now you can see that colon absorbs water. That means nothing but the large intestine absorbs water. Also manufactures some of the vitamins, produces a mucus layer which is there for the stomach. Okay, and also helps in throwing out the feces. Okay, that is the stools or unwanted material in the body. Fine. Now let's see, do you know, which is given in your textbook. Now you know how water is very important for us. Okay, so sufficient quantity of water is always necessary for the process of digestion to take place. So therefore, after having food, you will have water after some time, correct? Because water is very much essential for the process of digestion, okay, to take place properly. And even to keep the food moving into the alimentary canal, because here once you have water, you know that the food is going along with the water in the form of a thin slurry. So therefore water is very important in the case of digestion process. But suppose if one does not drink enough water, then one becomes constipated. Now what is meant by constipation? Constipation is nothing but passing of the hard stools. Okay, hard stools, or when you go to the toilet, you do not get toilet properly, or you will have hard stools, or does not pass regularly, or sometimes you cannot pass out the stools. That is called as constipation. In stools, I hope so you have understood what is meant by stool. Stool is not the one on which we sit, but on which we sit and do, that is called as the stool. So I hope so you have understood what is meant by stool. So during constipation, the stools are either not passed out regularly, or if it is passed out, then it will be very hard. You will have problem in the stomach later on if you don't pass out stool every day. Fine. So next, none of the other tasks in the body also can go without water. So therefore water is very essential. The water that is absorbed during digestion is the only water which is used for all the processes in the body. So we are taking water only, during the process of digestion only. The same water is required for the different processes, like there is circulation of the blood taking place, respiration is going on, excretion means throwing out of urine, that is called as excretion, is also carried out due to water, and that water is taken when only during the digestion process. That is why it is so important to drink adequate quantities of water, otherwise you will get constipated. Then now next thing you should know is the upper end of the esophagus. You can see esophagus, there are two openings here, one which is taking the food and the other is meant for respiration, that is also called as windpipe or the food windpipe or trachea. So there are two pipes you can see over here, and there is partition in between. So you can see the food, how nicely the food, instead of going into the windpipe, it goes into the food pipe. Okay, because there is flabellum type structure which is also called as the pharynx, which helps in passing this food into the food pipe and not into the windpipe. It's because the upper end of both this esophagus and windpipe are opening into the throat over here next to each other. But when we eat in a hurry, sometimes what happens, the food, instead of going into the food pipe, it may enter into the windpipe, and because of this we may choke. You may get choking due to entering of the food into the windpipe instead of food pipe. Food pipe is also a common name for esophagus, and windpipe is trachea. You have already learnt respiratory system last time, right? Now let's move on further. That is the reason why we must not eat in a hurry, because if we eat in a hurry, instead of the food going into the food pipe, it will enter into the windpipe. Therefore we must avoid speaking also along with eating. Okay, we must avoid speaking and eating at the same time. Now next thing, now regarding the teeth. Now if we want healthy teeth, we need to look after them. That it is taught even in the KG that you should brush your teeth twice a day. That means we need to take care of our teeth every day, because teeth helps in chewing of the food, and when you are chewing the food, some food particles remains in the teeth. So if we do not brush regularly, if we do not take care of our teeth, what can happen? The food may remain inside, it may start decaying your tooth. Okay, but you should be knowing about there is one substance called as enamel above our teeth, which is protecting the delicate inner parts of the tooth. Okay, and also remember students, this enamel is also called, you can see that white part which is there, which is through which black color is coming. Actually it is showing over here that it is getting corroded. Corroded means decaying of the tooth is taking place. So this white part which is there is present above the tooth, okay, which is also called as enamel. Okay, this enamel keeps the teeth protected, and enamel is the hardest substance known in our body, harder than the bones. So remember, but being harder, sometimes it may even decay. Why? Because if we do not clean our teeth regularly, or regularly in the sense if we do not wash, gargle any not gargle, when we after eating food we should always take water and remove everything, whatever dirt is there in the mouth, that you should throw it out. Okay, so and brush the teeth twice a day. If you do not take care, then you will have a problem. Next, while having our meals, we enjoy many different tastes and flavors. So we sense them using our tongue and nose. But sometimes we find that a food item tastes or smells bad. It's because it may have got spoiled. Fine, you can see how food gets spoiled, and one need to pay attention to such changes in the food. In case the food has really gone bad, then we should avoid eating it. Otherwise, you will have some problems like food poisoning. So this is regarding do you know and the digestive system. I hope so you have understood digestive system and also some of the facts which you should know. So in the next video, I will be dealing with the next part of the lesson. Till then, students, bye and thank you.